The Arizona sun blazed mercilessly as Clint Eastwood's pickup truck cut through the Sonoran Desert toward Copper Ridge. At 73, the retired sheriff had been enjoying 5 peaceful years on his ranch, but Sheriff Martinez's urgent call had changed everything. "Clint, I need you back," Martinez had said, his voice heavy with exhaustion. "We've got something here that involves the Apache reservation. You're the only lawman they still trust." Copper Ridge appeared like scattered dice across the desert floor, adobe buildings and trailers baking under the relentless sun. The sheriff's station was a low, sand-colored building that looked territorial-era old. Martinez met him in the parking lot, worry lines deeper than they should be on a man in his 40s. "Thank God you came." Martinez's handshake trembled slightly. Inside the station, crime scene photos spread across a conference table like a grim deck of cards. Clint had seen plenty of death, but what stared back at him made his jaw tighten. Sarah Crow Dog, 19 years old, Arizona State student, found yesterday morning hanging from a Palo Verde tree 10 miles north. The young Apache woman wore traditional clothing, white cotton blouse with intricate beadwork, long dark skirt, but the sign nailed below her body made Clint's blood run cold. "White man don't forgive," written in what looked like dried blood. "A rancher named Tom Bradley found her around 6 a.m., Martinez continued. "Coroner says she was strangled before being hanged. Rope marks don't match cause of death." "Why me, Miguel?" Martinez handed him a manila folder. "Because of what we found at her apartment." The documents painted a disturbing picture. Sarah had been investigating disappearances, 7 Apache women over 5 years, all between 18 and 25, all attractive, all from the same reservation. 7 women and nobody connected the dots. Different jurisdictions, nobody looked at the big picture except Sarah. Clint studied a photograph showing Sarah with an elderly Apache man. "Joseph Crow Dog, her grandfather. He's the one who asked me to call you." "Joseph's still alive?" Clint felt genuine warmth. He'd known the medicine man and tribal elder for decades. "He wants to see you. Says this is connected to something much bigger." The crime scene sat 10 miles out. A lone Palo Verde tree in a desert wash, its green bark bright against brown earth. Yellow crime scene tape fluttered like prayer flags. "Tell me about this tree," Clint said. "According to Joseph, it's sacred to the Apache. They call it the Standing Guardian. Marks the boundary between traditional burial grounds and white settlement land. So whoever did this knew exactly what they were doing." Clint walked around slowly, reading the desert's secrets. 3 vehicles, 1 heavy truck, 2 lighter ones, all new tires. He knelt at a disturbed spot. Someone knelt here for a while, performing some kind of ritual. 20 feet from the tree, partially buried, something glinted. Clint carefully extracted an expensive gold cufflink, an eagle clutching a dollar sign. A battered pickup approached, kicking up dust. An elderly Apache man emerged, tall, lean, silver hair braided down his back, eyes holding ancient wisdom. "Clint Eastwood, still as ugly as ever." Joseph Crow Dog's weathered face creased into a smile as they embraced. "I'm sorry about Sarah. She was a warrior, like her grandmother." Joseph's expression grew serious. "Walk with me." They moved toward a ridge overlooking the wash. In the distance, smoke rose from the Apache reservation. "You know why I called for you specifically?" Joseph asked. "Because we have history. Because you're the only white lawman who ever kept his word to us. To us, honor has no expiration date. Tell me about the missing women." "They weren't missing, Clint. They were stolen, like the old days when your people took our children for schools that killed our culture." "Who took them?" "Men with money. White men who think they can buy anything, including our daughters." Joseph's voice grew heavy. "You remember the old stories? About cavalry officers who thought Apache women were trophies? This is the same evil, just with more money behind it. Sex trafficking. Rich, white men who pay to act out their ancestors' fantasies, who think they can buy the right to rape and murder Apache women like it's historical reenactment." Sarah found out about this. Sarah infiltrated them, pretended to be another pretty Apache girl they could buy, but she was gathering evidence, names, places, recordings. Where is it? Hidden. Sarah was smart, but she went back because they had her cousin, Maria, 22 years old. Sarah died trying to save her. Joseph handed Clint a business card. Desert Palms Resort and Casino. Richard Blackwood, CEO. New casino, 50 miles north. Very exclusive, very expensive, very convenient for moving women without being noticed. As the sun set behind the Superstition Mountains, painting the desert red and gold, Clint felt the familiar weight of justice settling on his shoulders. This wasn't just murder, it was systematic terror against an entire people. What do you need from me, Joseph? Help us save the women who are still alive and make sure this never happens again. For the first time in 5 years, Clint Eastwood felt the fire that had driven him through 3 decades of law enforcement. But this time, it burned hotter than ever before. The Apache Nation Tribal Council met in a circular building decorated with traditional paintings depicting their history. As Clint entered that evening, he felt centuries of conflict and mistrust weighing on the room. 23 tribal members sat in a circle, faces illuminated by oil lamps. Chief Robert Geronimo, descendant of the famous warrior, commanded immediate respect. "Clint Eastwood," the chief's voice carried generational authority, "you come to us again in a time of great pain. Chief, I come asking for help in finding justice for Sarah and the other women." Justice. The word hung like smoke. Your people's justice or our justice? Elena Crow Dog, Sarah's grandmother, stood up. Her eyes were red from crying, but her voice was strong. "Sheriff Eastwood, my granddaughter died trusting your law would work. Was she wrong? I don't know yet, Mrs. Crow Dog, but I promise, if your law works better than mine, I'll step aside." Approval rippled through the circle. Chief Geronimo raised his hand for silence. "What do you need?" David Crow Dog, Sarah's brother, stood up. "I helped her research. They're not targeting random women. They have specific criteria." He showed Clint a tablet. College-aged, between 5'4" and 5'8", specific facial features. "They're ordering from a catalog. They're targeting our strongest, most proud daughters," Elena added. "The ones who would have been leaders." "How do they recruit them?" "Modeling scouts," David answered. "They approach women at powwows, campuses, cultural events, offer modeling contracts, Hollywood opportunities. The women think they're getting their big break." Joseph stood up. "There's something else. My grandmother told me stories about cavalry officers who collected Apache women like trophies during the Indian Wars, called it taming the savage. This is the same evil." Chief Geronimo gestured for Clint to sit beside him. "What happened 25 years ago?" Clint had dreaded this question. "I was investigating rapes on the reservation. Evidence pointed to prominent white citizens from town. I was ordered to drop it, but you didn't." "No, I kept investigating. Eventually arrested the mayor, a judge, 3 businessmen. And justice? 2 went to prison. Others got plea deals, community service, fines, probation. No real justice." "Is that why you retired?" "Partly. I got tired of a system that protected the powerful and failed the vulnerable." A young woman stood up at the back of the circle. "My name is Rebecca Crow Dog. Sarah was my cousin. Maria is my sister." "Rebecca, no," Clint said immediately. "I fit their target profile exactly. College student, posts about Apache culture, photogenic. I can get their attention. It's too dangerous." "More dangerous than doing nothing while my sister is tortured?" Chief Geronimo raised his hand. "Rebecca, explain your plan." "I infiltrate their operation, while you gather evidence from outside." "Chief, I can't ask you to put another young woman at risk." "You're not asking. We're telling you this is how it gets done." Elena answered his unspoken question. "Because this is our fight, Sheriff. You can help, but we won't be passive victims anymore." David pulled out a map marked with red dots. 43 Apache veterans, all with combat experience. We've been conducting surveillance on the casino for months. You've been planning this whether I helped or not. Yes, but we'd prefer to do it with the law instead of outside it. Rebecca moved to the center. Sheriff, I've been preparing for 6 months. I know their recruitment patterns, security procedures, key personnel. These men killed Sarah. They'll kill you too. They killed Sarah because she got careless. I won't make that mistake. Chief Geronimo stood. The tribal council has voted. Rebecca infiltrates. You coordinate with federal authorities. Our warriors provide security and rescue. When? Tomorrow. Cultural festival in Phoenix this weekend. Rebecca makes contact there. As the meeting ended, Joseph walked with Clint toward his truck. Desert night was clear and cold, stars scattered like diamonds. You're worried about Rebecca. I'm terrified for her. You think we don't know the risks? I think you're asking a 22-year-old to walk into hell. We're asking a trained warrior to fight for her people. Rebecca is third-degree black belt, expert marksman, served 2 tours in Afghanistan as military intelligence before college. This was news to Clint. She's military? She's Apache. We don't separate warrior training from education. Joseph handed him a small leather pouch. Protection medicine. My grandmother made it for you 25 years ago. Joseph, I'm not sure I believe. You don't have to believe. Just carry it. Driving back toward town, Clint's phone rang. Sheriff Martinez. Clint, we've got a problem. That cufflink you found. I showed it around town. It belongs to Richard Blackwood. That's evidence, Miguel. The problem is who I showed it to. About an hour ago, someone broke into the evidence locker. The cufflink's gone. Your department is compromised. I'm starting to think so. And Clint, I got a call from the state attorney general's office. They're sending someone down tomorrow to assist with the investigation. Someone who specializes in making evidence disappear. That would be my guess. As Clint hung up, he realized the corruption ran deeper than he'd thought. This wasn't just sick perverts. This was a system protecting them at the highest levels. Tomorrow, Rebecca would walk into a nest of vipers while he coordinated with compromised authorities and Apache warriors prepared for war. For the first time in 5 years, Clint Eastwood felt the familiar fire in his gut. But this time, it burned with the intensity of righteous anger that had been building for centuries. The Phoenix Cultural Festival sprawled across the downtown convention center like a vibrant tapestry of Native American heritage. Rebecca Crow Dog moved through the crowds with practiced confidence, wearing traditional Apache dress her grandmother had made, white doeskin decorated with turquoise and silver beadwork. 2 blocks away, Clint sat in an FBI van with Agent Sarah Martinez, a sharp woman in her 40s who specialized in human trafficking. Through high-powered binoculars, they watched Rebecca position herself near the photography area, where professional photos were being taken. Your girl's got nerves of steel, Agent Martinez observed. She's not my girl. She's an Apache warrior who happens to be 22. Rebecca didn't wait long. A man in his 30s approached, well-dressed, handsome in a generic way, completely predatory smile. Excuse me, you have an amazing look, very authentic. Thank you, Rebecca replied, letting shyness creep into her voice. I'm Brad Wilson, talent scout for Southwest Modeling Agency. He handed her a legitimate-looking business card. We're looking for young women with your look for print ads, commercial work. Really? I'm just a college student. College students make the best models. Natural, unspoiled. We're specifically seeking authentic Native American models for a new campaign. High-end fashion, very respectful. The pay is excellent, $20,000 to $30,000 for a weekend shoot. In the van, Clint and Agent Martinez listened through Rebecca's wire, following Sarah's exact script, Agent Martinez whispered, which means they've done this dozens of times. It sounds amazing, but I'd need more details, Rebecca said. We have a private studio north of Phoenix. Very exclusive, professional. We'd need test shots first. Make sure you're comfortable with camera work. When? This weekend. Tight deadline. If you're interested, I can drive you up this afternoon for tests. Rebecca pretended to consider. I don't know. My family's protective. Of course. Tell you what, think about it. Call me tonight. But Rebecca made her move. Actually, I am interested. I could really use money for school. Excellent. My car's outside. We can head up now. In the van, Clint felt his stomach drop. This was happening too fast. She's supposed to wait, Agent Martinez said urgently. Something's wrong. Actually, I should call my grandmother first, they heard Rebecca say. Of course, quiet area in my car for privacy. That's it, I'm pulling her out. Clint reached for the door. Wait, she knows what she's doing. Maybe you should give me your number instead. I'll call tonight after talking to my family. I really think we should strike while the iron's hot. Opportunities like this don't come around often. I understand, but my family... Look, Rebecca, I'll be honest. We have 3 other girls we're considering. If you're not ready to commit today, I'll move on. Other Apache girls? Beautiful Native American women, yes. This campaign is specifically about authentic Native beauty. Rebecca wrestled with the decision. Okay, let me call my grandmother quick. Perfect. Black Escalade right outside the main entrance. As Brad walked away, Rebecca spoke quietly. He's more aggressive than Sarah's notes indicated. Something's changed. The Escalade waited exactly where promised. As Rebecca approached, she noticed heavily tinted windows and a second man in the driver's seat. Ready? Brad asked, opening the passenger door. Actually, I'm having second thoughts. Get in the car, Rebecca. Brad's voice completely changed. Gone was the friendly scout, replaced by something cold and threatening. I changed my mind. That's not an option. The driver got out, a large man Rebecca recognized from Sarah's photos. Tommy Rodriguez, head of security for Desert Palms Casino. Multiple assault convictions, suspected organized crime ties. Problem, Brad? Tommy asked, hand resting under his jacket. Just nervous. She'll be fine once we reach the studio. Rebecca was trapped between the car and 2 men clearly prepared for resistance. Rebecca, Brad's voice became soothing again. You've already committed. We've made arrangements, cancelled appointments. Our clients don't like broken contracts. Your clients? People paying very good money to meet you. Tommy moved closer, blocking her escape route. She was trapped. In the van, Clint watched the situation deteriorate. She's blown. We move now. If we move too early, we lose the whole operation. If we move too late, we lose Rebecca. Look, I just need to call my grandmother, Rebecca said, still maintaining cover. You can call from the studio. Get in the car. Now. That was the code phrase. Now meant immediate danger and extraction needed. Clint was out of the van before Agent Martinez could stop him. But as he rounded the corner, he saw Rebecca getting into the Escalade voluntarily. To anyone watching, it looked completely normal. All units, target is mobile, Agent Martinez radioed. Maintain surveillance, do not interfere. Clint watched the Escalade merge into Phoenix traffic. Every instinct screamed to follow, to ram the vehicle, to shoot out tires. But Rebecca had made a calculated decision, and interfering might blow everything. Unit 3, we have the target, came over radio. Black Escalade heading north on I-17. Clint's phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Sheriff Eastwood, if you want to see Rebecca Crow Dog alive again, come to the Desert Palms Casino tonight at midnight. Come alone or she dies. Also, stop following our vehicle. Agent Martinez read over his shoulder. They made our surveillance, which means they're more sophisticated than we thought. What do you want to do? Clint looked out at the desert landscape. Somewhere out there, Rebecca was being taken to a place where women were tortured and murdered for entertainment. I want to call Joseph Crow Dog and tell him to activate his warriors. Clint, if you go in alone, you're walking into a trap. If I don't, Rebecca dies. We can coordinate with local law enforcement. Local law enforcement is compromised. His phone rang. Joseph Crow Dog. They have Rebecca. How do you know? Because we've been tracking the Escalade since it left Phoenix. It's heading to a compound 10 miles north of the casino. They want me at the casino at midnight. It's a trap. They'll kill you both. Then what do you suggest? We suggest you trust Apache justice for once. Agent Martinez grabbed the phone. Mr. Crow Dog, this is FBI Agent Martinez. We cannot authorize vigilante action. Agent Martinez, we are not asking for your authorization. We will extract Rebecca and the other women tonight. Your job is to make sure federal authorities are ready to arrest the survivors. How many women? We count at least 6 heat signatures in the compound. Rebecca makes 7. Heat signatures? What kind of surveillance do you have? Military-grade thermal imaging donated by wealthy Apache casino owners who want this stopped. Agent Martinez looked stunned. You have $2 million worth of equipment? We have whatever we need to protect our people. Joseph, what do you need from me? Clint asked. Be at the casino at midnight. Act like you're walking into their trap. Keep them distracted while we extract the women. And if they kill me, then you will die with honor, and we will make sure your sacrifice saves 7 innocent women. As the sun set over the Sonoran Desert, Clint found himself at a crossroads. On one side was everything he'd been trained to believe about law enforcement, proper procedures, federal jurisdiction, working within the system. On the other side was raw justice administered by people who had been failed by that system for centuries. At 10 p.m., Clint drove toward the Desert Palms Casino, his .45 Colt cleaned and loaded with ritual precision. The casino blazed against the black desert like a technological tumor rising from ancient landscape. The penthouse elevator required a key card waiting at the front desk. The ride up gave him time to think about all the ways this could go wrong. The elevator opened into a luxurious penthouse where Richard Blackwood waited, late 50s, silver hair, expensive suit, the confidence of someone never told no. Sheriff Eastwood, thank you for coming. Where is she? Safe, for now. Please sit. Can I offer you a drink? I want to see Rebecca. First, we need a conversation. Blackwood poured himself scotch. You've caused quite a bit of trouble. Good. You don't understand the scope of what you're interfering with. We provide specialized services to exclusive clientele, men who can afford to experience history personally, men who pay to rape and murder young women, men who pay to experience the conquest of the American frontier authentically. You're sick. I'm a businessman. You're interfering with my business. What do you want? Stop investigating us. Go back to retirement and forget Sarah Crowdog. Not happening. I think it is. Because if it doesn't, Rebecca ends up like Sarah, hanging from a tree with a clear message about interfering with us. You killed Sarah. Sarah killed herself by sticking her nose where it didn't belong. Clint stood, hand moving toward his weapon. You're talking about human beings like props. Sit down, Sheriff. You're outnumbered. 2 large men emerged from a side room, professional muscle, armed and ready. We have clients in very high places, federal judges, senators, police commissioners. This operation has protection at levels you can't imagine. Then how do you explain me being here? You're about to have a very unfortunate accident. A retired sheriff who got in over his head. And Rebecca? Rebecca is providing entertainment for important clients tonight. Then she's having an accident too. That's when Clint heard it, the whisper of movement outside the windows, Apache warriors moving into position. You know what your problem is, Blackwood? What's that? You think you're the predator in this situation. The lights went out. Emergency lighting kicked in, bathing the penthouse in eerie red glow. The windows exploded inward as 6 Apache warriors rappelled into the room. They moved with lethal precision, taking down both bodyguards before either could draw weapons. Blackwood tried to run, but Clint was faster. The businessman found himself face down with a .45 pressed against his skull. Where are the women? Go to hell. David Crowdog approached. The compound is secure. We extracted 7 women, including Rebecca and Maria, all alive. Condition: drugged, traumatized, but alive. They're being taken to the tribal medical center. Clint hauled Blackwood to his feet. Your business just went under. You have no idea what you've done. The people I work for, the people you work for, are about to find out what Apache justice looks like. Agent Martinez's voice crackled over radio. Federal agents en route, ETA 5 minutes. When the FBI arrived, they found 8 men captured, 5 dead, and a house full of evidence confirming everything the Apache had documented. Among the captured were prominent businessmen who immediately began talking, offering information for clemency. How do you feel? David asked Clint, as federal agents processed the scene. Relieved, but I know this is just the beginning. Beginning of what? Real change. A system that works for everyone, not just the powerful. The dawn light painted the Sonoran Desert in shades of gold and red as FBI agents finished processing the crime scene at Desert Palms Casino. The compound where the women had been held buzzed with federal activity. Forensics teams, victim advocates, prosecutors already building cases spanning multiple jurisdictions. Clint sat on his truck's tailgate, watching the organized chaos and feeling older than his 73 years. The adrenaline had worn off, leaving him with familiar emptiness that followed every major case. Justice had been served, but at what cost? Sheriff Eastwood, a young FBI agent, approached. "Agent Martinez wants to speak with you." In the makeshift command center, Agent Martinez looked exhausted but satisfied. "Clint, I wanted to update you on what we found." "How bad is it?" "Worse than we imagined, but better than it could have been." She handed him a thick folder. 4 separate facilities across the Southwest. This operation generated over $10 million annually. How many victims? At least 60 women over 5 years. All Native American, all 18 to 25. And the clients? Federal judges, corporate executives, politicians from both parties, law enforcement from 6 states. Jesus. It gets worse. Some paid extra for permanent experiences. They were paying to actually kill the women as part of their fantasy. How many? At least 12 confirmed, maybe more. And Blackwood? Talking, trying to cut a deal, giving us names, locations, financial records. He's looking at life without parole either way. What about the Apache involvement? Officially, we're treating this as coordinated law enforcement, where tribal police provided crucial assistance. And unofficially? Unofficially, I never saw vigilante justice. I saw precision, discipline, restraint. Those warriors could have killed everyone but didn't. They extracted victims and captured perpetrators alive. Joseph Crowdog entered, looking tired but determined. "Clint, I wanted to thank you." "Your people did all the work, Joseph." "No, you did something important. You trusted us." "I learned to trust you 25 years ago." Agent Martinez stood up. "Mr. Crowdog, my technical team is impressed with your equipment and coordination last night. Military grade, probably cost millions. How does a reservation afford that capability?" Joseph smiled. "Agent Martinez, the Apache Nation operates several successful casinos. We decided to invest profits in protecting our people. By creating your own private military unit, by creating our own security force, staffed by Apache veterans who know how to fight and care about protecting Apache women. Will this unit continue operating? As long as Apache women are being targeted, yes. Mr. Crowdog, if your security force ever needs federal liaison or coordination, please let me know. Are you offering to work with us? I'm offering to learn from you." After Agent Martinez left, Joseph and Clint walked outside into morning sunshine. The desert was beautiful in early light, peaceful in a way that made recent events seem like nightmares. "How are the women?" Clint asked. "Physically, they'll recover. Emotionally, that will take time." "And Rebecca?" "Rebecca is angry. She wants to hunt down every man on those client lists." "That's not her job." "No, that's the FBI's job. But if they fail, they won't fail. Agent Martinez is good people." That afternoon, Clint visited the Tribal Medical Center to check on the rescued women. The facility was modern and well-equipped, staffed by traditional healers and Western-trained professionals. Rebecca sat up in bed, remarkably composed for someone who had spent 12 hours undercover with killers. "Sheriff Eastwood, thank you for coming. How are you feeling?" "Angry, determined, ready to testify against every one of those bastards." "You did incredible work. Your intelligence gathering probably saved dozens of lives." "Sarah did the real work. I just finished what she started." "Why didn't you wait for backup when things went wrong?" Rebecca smiled grimly. "Because I knew my real backup wasn't in a van 2 blocks away. My real backup was 43 Apache warriors positioned throughout the desert with enough firepower to level that compound if necessary." "You knew the whole time?" "I knew my people would never let me walk into hell alone. And if something had gone wrong, then I would have died fighting, like an Apache." Maria Crowdog, Sarah's cousin, grabbed his hand as he prepared to leave. "Sheriff, Sarah talked about you." "What did she say?" "She said you were the first white lawman who ever kept promises to Apache people." "I tried. She said if anything happened to her, we should trust you to finish what she started. I hope I did that. You did more. You proved justice is possible when good people work together. That evening, Clint found himself back at the Palo Verde tree where Sarah's body had been found. Someone had removed crime scene tape and left flowers, traditional Apache offerings mixed with roses from town. Sheriff Martinez found him there as the sun set. Thought I might find you here. Just paying respects. Clint, I got a call from the state attorney general. They're dropping investigation into your involvement in last night's operation. Good to know. They're also offering you a position as special consultant on crimes involving Native American victims. I'm retired, Miguel. Are you? Because from where I sit, it looks like you just solved the biggest case in Arizona history. Miguel, what would you say if I told you I was thinking about coming back? I'd say it's about damn time. Not as sheriff, as liaison between law enforcement and tribal communities. I'd say that's exactly what this state needs. 3 months later, Clint was sworn in as the first special agent for Native American affairs in the Arizona Department of Public Safety. His office was small, located halfway between Phoenix and the Apache Reservation, but his authority was broad. Investigate any crime involving Native American victims, coordinate with tribal police, call on federal resources when necessary. The trafficking network had led to 127 arrests across 6 states, 53 convictions so far, with more trials pending. Richard Blackwood was serving life without parole. But perhaps most importantly, the Apache Nation's security force had become a model for other tribal communities. Trained, equipped, and authorized to protect their people when regular justice failed. On Sarah Crow Dog's death anniversary, the Apache Nation held a ceremony at the Palo Verde tree. They planted a garden around it and installed a permanent memorial listing all trafficking victims' names. Clint was invited to speak before several hundred people. Apache families, law enforcement, federal agents, politicians, ordinary citizens touched by the case. A year ago, a young Apache woman named Sarah Crow Dog died trying to save her people. Her death led to rescuing 7 women and arresting over 100 criminals. But more than that, her death led to new understanding between communities divided too long. Today, we honor not just Sarah's memory, but everyone who refused to accept that justice was impossible. Apache warriors who risked their lives, federal agents who pursued justice across state lines, prosecutors who built airtight cases against powerful defendants. But most of all, we honor the survivors, women who lived through hell and came back to tell their stories, who refused to be silenced by shame or fear. Sarah's sign said, "White man, don't forgive." But today, I want to say something different. Today we prove good people of all colors can work together for justice. We prove honor still matters. We prove the white man can learn to forgive, ask for forgiveness, and work for something better than the past. Sarah died fighting for her people. Today we live fighting for all people. As the ceremony ended, Joseph approached Clint. Good speech. Think Sarah would have approved? I think Sarah would have said it was about time. They stood together in the Palo Verde's shade, 2 old men who had learned that justice wasn't about skin color or badges. Justice was about courage to do what was right, even when the system was broken. Joseph, can I ask you something? Always. Do you think we've actually changed anything? Or did we just win one battle in a war that's been going on for centuries? Joseph was quiet, watching the last ceremony participants drive away across the desert. Clint, my grandfather used to tell me that every battle won makes the next battle easier. Maybe we didn't end the war, but we proved it could be won. And that's enough. That's everything. As the sun set over the Sonoran Desert, painting the sky red and gold, Clint Eastwood felt something he hadn't felt in years. Hope. Not hope that the world would suddenly become perfect, but hope that good people working together could make it a little bit better, and sometimes that was enough.